Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's the beginning of my day. Now it's a little bit after 7. Normally I am up at either 4 or 5 o'clock every morning, but it's been a long 4 days prior to today. We had the fire that's still going. The winds blew in the opposite direction, which means it blew it away from us. However, today the winds are going to be blowing in this direction, which means it's going to blow it back towards us. The fire is not out, they've not contained it. But I've learned a lot about myself, and I am kind of proud. And I'm just going to say it the way it is. I like the fact that I did not go to my God and ask him to spare my property. I did not ask him for that type of assistance. As I said before, to spare my property means someone else would have to lose theirs, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone else. Why would I sacrifice someone else for my benefit? You can't get more selfish than that, in my opinion. And so I like the fact that that was my resolve. I also like the fact that I was willing to just let everything go. I wasn't preparing on saving nothing, just the computers, the identification stuff, and my to go bag. That was it. I was going to just take the car. Literally. If it got that way, that's all I was taking. I was going to lose over 100 so-called $1,000 worth of stuff. And a lot of the stuff hasn't even been taken out of boxes. It was just been stuff. And that's just me doing a rough guesstimate. Gonna lose $7,000 worth of solar batteries. And was willing to start over. Oh, sorry. $200,000. I forgot about the storage containers and everything that I have in the back that we are getting ready to invest in, and the other RV and a couple other things. So yeah, it would have been a lot, but it would have been okay because material things can be replaced. That's why they're material. So I am proud that in the heat of the moment, okay, that was my choice, and I wasn't hesitant about it. I decided, made a resolve, and when I do that with myself, when I make a decision, that's it. Yeah, there are some possible amendments to it, but in a situation like that, there are no amendments. Then neighbor came by and he says, "Your truck can move this stuff. You just put everything on that and use your truck." I'm like, "No, that's too heavy for the truck. Man, that truck can pull this." And man, new life, new life. And so then I wouldn't lose as much. Then I told him, I said, "Okay, I got this brand new generator that I've never used. That junk cost me $1,500. And I went through a whole lot getting that one. And it's never been used. So let me bring that over to your place. And I have this other generator I have to send to be repaired. So might as well bring that over too. Hey, I got this car somebody gave me. It still runs. Just in case, let me bring that over." He says, "All right." Because I'm storing some of his stuff here, and he would have lost that, but that stuff he doesn't really care about. Yay. That's just me explaining the stress, because that wasn't just a 1 day thought process, that was a 3 day thought process. A lot of stress. So when you hear about people being in areas where there are evacuation plans, they don't have time to have 3 days to plan like I did. Now, mind you, I want you to understand, I did not have 3 days to plan. Every day there was a possibility of the fire coming here because of the winds. And the firemen, LA Cal Fire, and I said LA Cal Fire, no, Cal Fire, California Fire Department. We have a fire department that's 10 miles away. They, together with the forest, um, Department for the United States, BLM, along with 2 other counties, and their volunteers were able to prevent that from hitting this area. Now, mind you, they didn't do it for me. They did it because there's a lot of money in this area. There are a lot of people who have large ranches, and I don't mean small ranches, I mean large ranches, and they didn't want to lose their property. We know that at least a couple of the ranchers lost their property because this fire was too big. So they did it for them, I'm 100% certain, but nonetheless, they did a good job to up to this point. Again, the winds are going to kick up today, and they're going to be blowing back in this direction. The good thing about it is they're going to be blowing back towards embers that have already been burnt. So that's a good thing. There's not a lot of fuel for the fire. And even to get back towards this area, they have to come back through burnt areas. So that gives them the chances of putting it out a lot easier. Now, oh, sorry, this is my daily routine. This is the first thing I go over in the morning. I'll be going over that in just a moment. What I need to do is let you know. There are 2 people who are incarcerated, both of them 2 separate reasons, one in state court, the other one in federal court. Yay. The one in state court, I didn't do anything to put him there. The one in federal court, I didn't do anything to put him there. I even told him what he needed to do to keep from going there. Ladies and gentlemen, I opened my big mouth and I told him, okay, I'll put together something for you to put in the court. They were thinking that it was going to be done 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I told them, hey, there's a fire going on around here. I can't focus. I got to pay attention to this, so I can't do both. And yesterday it appeared that one of them seemed to have been rushing me because he's got a court date. And I said, forget about your stupid court date. That court date's going to come and go. I said, this is not a rush. He wants to get out. I understand that. I've been there. But the fact is, my life doesn't revolve around you. You're not paying me for this. You paid for a consultation. You didn't pay for me to do paperwork. Ladies and gentlemen, my base price is $250 per motion. That's my base price. And that's for people, pay attention, who are incarcerated. So that's why I said in video, I had to justify doing the petition for them. So what did I justify it with? It took me 7 days to create. Well, not this. This is just the declaration that I pulled up. No, not that one either. There are 3 of them that I've done for them that I got to work on today. Nope, that's not it either. That was for someone else who didn't pay me for that either. You know what? This is another app that I'm working on, and you see what it does. This is the other stuff that I have to work on for our people, for our contracts. So the Mega Trust document generator, that's what I'm working on now. So y'all bear with me. Let me pull up the app that I said that I worked on for you all. And that's going to be HTML storage, the ultimate motion template, where all you got to do is click on the type of motion you want. Now, let's say you don't need this one. Oh, this, you know what? This ain't even it. This is the one that I told you that it's self-storage, that I got to clear the cache because it's going to pull up the same junk. Here is the same document. Let's say I want to work on a Rule 60. So I click on Rule 60. And I just come in and I fill in the blanks. And let's say I got to add a section, and then I got to add a section, then I got to add a section. Well, there you go. And let's say I got to add one more section because I got more to say. There you go. And then you go to ChatGPT and you copy and you paste. I got to do that again, dude. Oh, that's right. I only have one open. Okay. And it saves it. See, add a section, add a section, add a section. It saved it. All right. So when you restart your computer, as long as you don't do this right here. Well, no, you can do that now. I'm sorry. I made it so where even if you hit refresh previously, the apps that I created, you hit refresh and it refreshed back to the original. This one, you have the undo, but it's not going to undo. Okay, it's not going to undo that. It doesn't undo that. The only way to get rid of that is that right there. Okay. And you see how it has these two right here? Well, we don't want those two. So what we're going to do, pay attention, we can go to the code. And then we're going to go Control F. If you have a Mac, it's Command F. And we're going to do add. And then we're going to do S, space and S for add section. And that is, we're looking for the add section where we have two of them together. So add section and add section. Watch this. We're going to get rid of the second one, not the first one. Okay, let's get rid of that space too. All right. And then we're going to go save changes. And we're going to scroll down. And you see that add section is gone. The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away. And now we just put it back the way it was. But even if you didn't do that, even if it had the other add section, it wouldn't mess up the document. That's just taking it away. Now, hold on. That's one thing. Just got to let you know. If let's say that's one petition I want to work on. Let's say I want to work on this, but I don't want this to be my title. Let's do a petition to enforce general order, and we're going to do general order objecting to filing fees. That's going to be the title of our document. We don't need to worry about that title there. We can title the petition anything, any way, any who we want. And now we get to create that petition. You have your own document number. You can change that at any time. You can add the case number. Yay! You can add the party. It says case caption. This is where you add them versus them. Okay, the Hatfields and the McCoys. Then you go to ChatGPT. Hey, I need some table of authorities for this. I need some constitutional provisions that talk about this. I need some statutes at large that talk about this. And I need some, pay attention, not court orders, some case citations that talk about this, because these are table of authorities. Because this was the CRIS system, making it mandatory that they, pay attention, monetize each case in the court. He did that. But then I add case citations. Then I do my statement of claims. I go into ChatGPT. I need a statement of claims saying this. And you tell it what you want it to say, and you copy and you paste it in that box. Then you say, I need a statement of claims saying this. And then you copy and paste that into that box and so forth. And then you title the rest of your petition the way you want it. Okay? And now you can create your own motions using ChatGPT. And they can't say AI did it because you did it. Pay attention. Doesn't matter if you used AI. You did the petition because this is your creator. And what do? You can go to preview. Yay, preview. And look at the title. See, petition to enforce general order objecting to filing fees. Woohoo! And then you go print the document. And look at what it does for you. And look, it doesn't have any of those add sections to it. It does keep your document number, and you print, and there is your motion. You see, that's how I justified doing the two motions for the two guys. Because I told both of them, this is not what I normally do. I don't do documents for people. I was speaking with one, and I said, I wish you would have told me that the first day. Well, I tried to have you read my documents. And I told him, and I told you, I don't read people's paperwork. That's not my job. It's a consultation. You don't want me to read your paperwork because it will cost you 3 times as much as what you paid me. Ladies and gentlemen, his paperwork, like most of yours, is junk. That junk you're getting from the internet. Those arguments you are hearing people say on video that are not supporting it with anything. I got idiots doing videos telling people don't trust me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the one thing I don't give you is my opinion. I back up everything I say. Go back, look at my videos and see where I didn't back up what I said. So you don't have to trust me because I don't ask anybody to trust me. I don't care if you trust me, you like me, you don't like me. I don't give a. Okay? I'm from South Central. So when you heard them fools saying, I don't give up, okay, trust me, I understand the attitude because I don't care what you think, how you think, why you think, where you think. I don't care. Now, go back and watch the last video that says link. Give me a second. Let's find that video for you. What's the name of the video that has a link? The ultimate document generator, creator, template. Link. You got to go watch that 57-minute video, but it has a link to this document that I'm working on. No, I'm not going to put the link to that document creator in this video. You're going to have to do some work. You see, that's what I'm tired of. And I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of doing all of this work. 7 days. I could only do it when I justified it. 7 days. Back and forth. The system kept messing up. You saw all of the ones I said, no, I can't use that. No, I can't use that. No, this won't work there. The reason why I know it won't work there is because I'm not a programmer. But you get to create whatever petition you want. You get to create whatever petition you want. Some of you won't understand, so that was me coughing, because, he threw the cough syrup to start the coughing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's called the coffin joke, Red Fox, then retold by Mr. Michael Collier. Ladies and gentlemen, the system right now can't handle me doing all of these petitions for you, but we go to pre-warrant, and you'll see that one is done for you. Excuse me. It's the fire and it's the pollen that's in the air, because that's what the fire is kicking up. And that's going to be a problem. I didn't know, because it's first thing in the morning and I went outside to the dogs and the ducks and the chickens. And so I didn't know that was going to be the case, that I was going to be breathing, because the air looks clear. The sky looks clear. There's not a lot of smoke that I can see, but of course there's a lot of smoke. And so that's what I am, and everybody else is breathing in when they go outside. And I do have to get the air circulating in here, so I'm turning on the fan so that it can circulate it in here so that I can breathe. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this document, pre-warrant adversarial hearings, are constitutionally required. We did the video for those of you who have been arrested with a warrant, but you didn't have a hearing and nobody gave you notice that they issued a warrant. No, they're always surprising you, showing up to your door doing knock warrants and no knock warrants. There's no such thing in law as a no knock warrant unless you've had your hearing. Read the document and understand what the law is, because unlike those idiots out there who are saying that I can't be trusted, they're not giving you any laws. They're not giving you any facts, and they definitely ain't giving you no information like this. Go and listen to them. Go and listen to what they have to offer society, or what they have to offer you. So, my people, y'all know, y'all come here, y'all going to get something that benefits you. There are too many videos, over 20,000 videos on YouTube. It's impossible for anybody to say that they've not benefited. Oh, and by the way, show me somebody else who has done more than 20,000 videos since 2010 on YouTube that provided you information like this. And ain't charging you, ain't asking you to subscribe, ain't asking you to join their channel, ain't asking you to subscribe to their group. Go ahead. I dare you. And ain't promoting something. Y'all don't hear me promoting my own stuff. Y'all don't hear me promoting company business. I tell you, this ain't got nothing to do with the company. If I update people on something the company is doing, that's just that. That's an update for them. That's not an update for y'all. We're not looking for new people. We're not looking for new business. I'm not trying to get rich off of you. You see, that's what those idiots are trying to do. And they talk about me because when it comes to this legal stuff, everybody knows where to come. Don't take my word for it. Go back and listen to how you found out about this channel, because you were looking for something legal. I don't advertise. Go ahead. I don't advertise. The rule is, and it has been that way from day one. If you find my site, it's because you were looking for the information. And this was the time for you to receive it. Yeah. You could have received it months ago. Because I even asked people, how come you didn't do that? How come you haven't contacted me? I just found out about your site. Okay, fine. And then we work out a plan for them. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's somebody who has more information than I do about the stuff I'm talking about, then you need to go listen to them. Seriously, I'm not joking with you. If there's somebody out there who's providing you more information on the stuff that I'm talking about, you need to go listen to them. But you can't listen to both of us. Why? Because we're not going to be giving you the same information from the same angle. And you can't combine angles. That's why I tell people you can't combine my junk with somebody else's junk. Because now you just got a bunch of junk. You have to take the information I give you and you have to do your research. Don't just take it and run with it. Do your research. Make sure the information is absolute. Okay, Sentencing Reform Act. Watch this. We're just going, wait, look, watch this. We're going to take this, copy, pardon me, this is Poe, and we're going to just copy that and paste that. Let's make sure that that junk is accurate. Let's make sure that it's on the money, that it says what it's supposed to say. Hey, the Sentencing Reform Act was enacted as part of a comprehensive crime control bill with the focus of blah, 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 blah. Ta-da! Ladies and gentlemen, it confirms the case citation. Statute abolished parole and delineates distinct sentencing modes: probation or imprisonment, not both. Ta-da! Imprisonment. A judge could not impose a sentence that combined both modes: partially probation and partially incarceration. This provision can be found there. So you're not just taking my word for it that they cannot sentence you to probation, parole, or, pay attention, supervised release. The act created supervised release. The only problem is that was an oxymoron, because supervised release has the same provisions as probation, just called by another name. They just dressed it up in a dress and said, hey, here's your porky, pig. Okay, you can't take a pig and put it in a dress and say that you're creating something new. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't make a dead dog happy. You can't take a pig, put it in a dress, and call it something new. It's still a pig. So pay attention. They called it supervised release. There is no such thing when it has the same provisions as probation. Watch this. Wake up. Wake up. What are the similarities between probation, parole, and supervised release? That means that you cannot combine incarceration with any of these because it's still probation, just called by a different name, and that's unconstitutional because the law says that it is an excessive penalty, and that means it violates double jeopardy principles. Exclamation mark. Stop listening. Community-based supervision. All three involve monitoring individuals in the community rather than incarcerating them. Offenders must comply with certain conditions while having or living outside the prison. Pay attention. Condition compliance. Each requires each of these. Accountability. That's what you want to add. You want to add the proof that the combination of these things is a violation of law. I get to go add it to the document that I'm creating, so you should add it to yours. Ta-ding! I'm not going to send you this share link. You got to do this research because I'm showing you how to do it. Your argument touches on an important legal principle that combined elements of constitutional law. Double jeopardy is the Fifth Amendment, the statutory interpretation of sentencing laws. Here is the point. The laws prohibiting the combining of sentencing modes, Sentencing Reform Act prohibits combining imprisonment and probation or other sentencing mechanisms like parole because they are distinct sentencing modes. Specifically, probation serves as an alternative to incarceration. Imprisonment includes supervised release afterwards is a separate sentencing mode. If the court attempts to impose both incarceration and probation as a single offense, blah, 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 blah. Now, he says separate sentencing mode. The Eighth Amendment, give me a second. Wake up. You said separate sentencing mode. Comma, you are lying to me. Comma, because it's not a separate sentencing mode, because supervised release is exactly that, comma, parole or probation, because it has the exact same elements as the former and the latter. Stop listening. You make a valid point regarding the practical similarities between that. While the courts and lawmakers attempted to distinguish supervised release as a separate legal concept, its practical elements, compliance requirements, supervision, and the consequences of violation are undeniably similar to probation and parole. Let's analyze it. That's why they can't do it. They tried to get technical. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why nobody picked up on this. Go ahead. Go back and look. You don't see nobody talking about this. Oh, I'm sorry. Where else are you going to go to get this information? Ain't nobody else bringing it out. Look at how many people have been sentenced to both supervised release and parole. Oh, no, no. This is for those attorneys who think that I don't know what I'm talking about and who needs a pulpit to get onto to make themselves a little bit more than what they are in the industry. Because it's a win. That's why I do this, because the right person will get a hold of it and take off with it. I don't care if they take the credit. I'm not here to get credit for nothing. You don't see me tooting my horn. Yes, you do. You toot your horn. Every time you talk, I am the greatest. I done heard you say that. Well, okay, you caught me. But again, the information is for you. This is me teaching you how to put together your petitions. It really is that simple. This will take you a couple of hours, not 7 days, because you don't have to create the app to create your template. You don't have to put it in a Word document. It's all right here. Everything is right here. You don't have to put it in a Word document. Oh, and for this argument, it's right here. Watch this. We're going to do this right here. Let's see. You see how this says new section? Now, that shouldn't say new section. Okay, so give me 1 second. Copy. And ta-da. Now it doesn't say that. Okay, now this is the one, constitutional provision. Now, these are short sections. Okay, so what I'm going to do, now we're going to add the section. Okay, we're going, come on now. Uh-oh, it won't let me add. Let's see, did it add a section? I got to see if it added the section. It won't let me add. And that's because, okay, so what I got to do is I got to add the section. Let's see. Nope, won't let me add the section. Yep, it won't let me add the section. So what do? We do this. We go back here. We scroll back up. What are the similarities between probation and parole? Sentence Reform Act, similarities. Ta-da! And I take this. It says, is a condition of early release from prison. Supervised release occurs after a prison sentence has been fully served and is part of a separate term of post-incarceration monitoring. No, it's not a separate term. You cannot separate it. It's for the same crime. And then we come down here. Okay, so what we do is follow me. We go back to, is it this one? It's got to be this one. And we paste. And what I want to do is I want to do that, and I want to do that, and we have to go to the last sentence of each section. Where are you at, number 2? Right there and right there. I got to have separation. Can't have it all bunched up in one little spot. Okay? Now, hold on now. You see this right here? The last one, it says supervised release occurs after sentence. This one says is a condition of early release from alternative. Okay. These mechanisms are designed to balance the need to punish and rehabilitate offenders without ever over reliance on incarceration. Though probation, parole, and supervised release share similarities, they differ in their timing and purpose and framework. So, guess what? That was a caveat. Nobody asked it for that. I didn't ask it for that junk. Look, supervised release is functionally probation under another name. I didn't say that. So, watch this. That's the case law where the Supreme Court has held in Mont versus U.S. that supervised release is part of the punishment of the original offense. That's why it cannot be combined. So now I come back to Poe. Get back over here, Poe. Don't be running from me. You know exactly. Okay, I know what to do right there. Uh-huh. And given these overlapping, it is logical to argue that supervised release is effectively a continuation of parole probation under a different name. And then we come down here, and then we come. I don't want to do that. All right, I know what to do with that. Okay, I know what to do with that. So we're going to take the whole thing. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy and we're going to paste. All right, now we got to do the same thing. Got to make our paragraphs. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for y'all. I'm going to put the link for this in here. For this video, I'm going to do that. Why? I don't care about the critics. I don't care about the critics. The critics don't make nothing. Okay. The courts generally upheld supervised release separate mode, arguing that parole distinct from parole because it's not a mechanism of early release from incarceration. It doesn't matter if it's not a mechanism of early release. It's part of the original sentencing, and it operates as a impediment to your liberty, and that's why. So give me a second. We got to separate. And y'all are going to have to read this because y'all going to have to do exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, this is a lot because I got to separate all of these paragraphs. Yeah, I could have had it separate the paragraphs and get things going, but that ain't my job. I ain't doing this for me. Okay? This ain't my app for me. This is for y'all. So live with it, homie. Oh, and by the way, uh, wake up. The Supreme Court. Stop listening. None of those people talking about me on video are Monica's. Okay? They couldn't be Monica's even if they wanted to be Monica's. I mean, even if they did the pronouns, they couldn't be Monica's. Lord have mercy. If you don't know what a Monica is, then you don't know what a Monica is. You know what I'm saying? Wake up. The legal contentions the factual conclusions of law, comma, Stop listening. Let's see. We don't do arguments. Sentencing Reform Act provisions should be provide and supervised release effect. Such a system, we get rid of that risk. We gonna violate double jeopardy and excessive punishment principles. Wake up. This lawful. Stop listening. And, sorry, I am making sure that it gets rid of all of that you stuff and your stuff and argument stuff. And I don't mind it saying argue once or twice, but continuing to say argue, no, we don't argue. Arguing puts you in dishonor. Okay? So what I do, and let me show y'all, because y'all got to get this link right here. Code save. Now, what I do with that code in a minute, minute by minute by minute, I keep holding on. I keep holding on. Okay, let's see. The only thing about it won't let y'all add any more sections. I think I done sectioned it out. You know, section 8, section 10, section 12. Well, you're going to let me add a section there? Okay, hold on. But there's something wrong. Because if I add a section, that's what I'm looking for. So let's see if I can do this. Come on. Okay. Where you at? My mouse ain't letting me do nothing. I don't want to click on nothing. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. You see how it took it away? Now I need to see where it went. I didn't click on no. I got to get rid of those. What I was trying to do is, yep, it's not letting me add those sections, but it did let me add that. But oh, I see what it's trying not to let me do. So y'all give me a second. I got to get rid of those other ads. TikTok and down. I'm going down because you ain't around, baby. My whole world's upside down. Sleep don't come easy. Girl, please believe me. Since I've been gone, everything's going wrong. Why'd you have to say goodbye? Look what I've done to me. I can't stop these tears from falling from my eyes. Oh, baby, I'm going down. Okay, so what we do right here, copy. See where it says new section? Ta-da! And let me make sure it ain't no more new sections. There shouldn't be because I was trying to be a Russian. Woohoo! There's your document. Now hold on now. I got one more thing we got to do. I thought I saw another new section thing, but I didn't. All right. You see, there's our conclusion. Where you at, conclusion? There it is right there. Practice of combining, blah, 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 blah. The court is without lawful authority. Okay, now watch this. Wake up. The aforementioned is wholly accurate and based on first-hand knowledge and or information and is provided in this affidavit format so as to clearly document the intent and right to petition for redress of grievance and the obligation upon representative government to provide redress, comma, the correction of wrongs, comma, reparations and or compensation for the wrongs done. Exclamation mark. The obligation under redress commands a response and action when there is a valid petition before this court or any other forum representing government within the United States. Period. All parties have been notified as of this day or on or about this day in a manner prescribed by law, either through electronic means or United States Postal Service first class mail or other feasible mechanism. And the aforementioned is stated under penalty of the law, comma, witnessed by and before God on this day, comma, so help me God, if held otherwise. Exclamation mark, close quote. An affidavit. I do hereby state, comma, declare, comma, affirm, comma, direct, comma, proclaim, comma, ascribe the following to be wholly accurate, comma, truthful, comma, based on first-hand knowledge and or fact and or laws and or conclusive determinations. Colon. Stop listening. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do this right here because I'm not gonna be going through this by myself. Y'all want to know what I have to go through to get this junk for y'all? Oh, got one more thing. I apologize. There's one more thing I said I was doing this for. We have to put that here in this section. So we gonna go right here to the bottom. Wake up. Did you know that in law it is dishonorable to argue? Comma, what proof do you have of this fact? Then why did you continue to say that I was making an argument? Question mark. Oh no, you said not merely an argument, which still implies an argument. So I asked you, and you still didn't answer my question. In law, it is dishonorable of a person and disrespectful for a person to argue. comma, give me proof of that fact, is what I asked you. Oh, I didn't ask you about no legal ethics, comma, legal ethics are not the law, comma, they have never been law, comma, no one is required to follow legal ethics, comma, the people of the United States and their posterity are required to follow the law, comma, I asked you what proof, comma, I didn't say anything about lawyers. I said to argue. Stop listening. In law, the act of arguing typically refers to, now watch this, wake up, wake up. Did I say anything about the act of arguing and what it typically refers to? Question mark. Or did I not focus on arguing and how it is dishonorable to argue? Stop listening. Typically, normally, usually, generally, those are all nuances that you don't allow it to do. The act of arguing itself is not inherently dishonorable. So now when it says things like that, watch this. What does the word arguing, wake up, what does the word honorable imply? Could a person be understood to be honorable if they perform each of the functions noted above? What if I argued with such a person? Would I be considered honorable? I don't believe you. Comma, can you prove to me that it is dishonorable to argue? Wake up. No, the definition you gave me proves that it is dishonorable to argue. No, comma, arguing implies a dispute, comma, honorable people do not dispute. They talk things out, comma, talking things out reasonably is not arguing. Period. Now you are misconflating the term arguing with conversation. And if one is in dispute with another, that's a conflict. And you cannot be involved in a conflict and said to be arguing because you are a participant. So I need you to give me a direct statement supported by conclusive doctrine that honorable individuals do not argue. I didn't ask you for your opinion. I didn't ask you for your preconceived prejudices. I asked you for a statement along the lines of which I gave you. You will do as I say. You don't command this conversation. You are the servant here. Now you are being dishonorable. Stop listening. Give me 1 second. We got one more that I have to do. This is Anthropic. This is how Anthropic does its junk. And I do mean how they do their junk. I'm not trying to drag. Come on, let me copy. Stupid moron. Now we go to ChatGPT because my ChatGPT, they had better give me what I'm asking for. Where is Covington Law Pro Exgen? Let's do the Constitutional Tribunal. And because a lot of courts say, okay, you can present your argument. I have searched the available bodies of legal, philosophical, blah, 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 and I find no authoritative source. Wake up. But that's not what I asked you. Did I ask you to find an authoritative source within legal or ethical grounds? Question mark. It is dishonorable to argue. That is a fact. Comma, now I need you to support that fact. Period. For instance, in ancient worlds, comma, individuals who were said to argue, for instance, arguing with a king, or arguing with royalty, or arguing with societal members that were classified as the aristocracies, or those who were known as the high societal members, did not argue, and they did not appreciate arguing. It was considered rude or dishonorable. Stop listening. Uh-oh, it's thinking. I forgot I had it in the high thinking mode. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for that. I got to take it out of this high thinking mode. Sorry, give me a second. Where's the modes at? We're going to put you back at 04 mini high because we got to have a mini high. Come on now, these people got to go and I got to go. This is 52 minutes you got me doing this for these people. Lord have mercy. I got to get back to work. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I have a consult in, what is it, 8 o'clock? 3 hours. And I got some paperwork I have to do for those gentlemen. Below are 2 principles of ethical handbooks. And it says the medieval and Renaissance aristocracies that treat contentious speech that we today might call arguing as a breach of honor rather than originally. Wake up. Originally, did I ask you anything about modern day understanding of arguing, or did I not say honorable and dishonorable, and that arguing is considered dishonorable? I did not ask you about how it's considered today. Did I? Stop listening. Wake up. Now answer my question without referring to time periods in any way. Stop listening. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes we have to get some things taken care of because, since I can't, I need to find an actual source, blah, 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 blah. And he went, wake up. I don't want you going to the internet. Comma, I don't want you going to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a valid source for information. Comma, I want you going to the actual facts. Comma, that to be honorable does not imply arguing, because arguing is dishonorable. There is no honor in arguing. Arguing implies a conflict, comma, a dispute, comma, you cannot be honorable if you are involved in a dispute, period. For instance, comma, in the scriptures it speaks against quarreling with one another, comma, having debates with one another, comma, these are principles of communication. And you cannot be honorable if you are quarreling or debating. Doesn't matter if it's acceptable in some societal situations. Exclamation mark. Stop listening. That's where I'm coming. And I think now it's going to have a much better attitude with me. We'll be a little bit over an hour, ladies and gentlemen, because this point is a valid point. So it is dishonorable to engage in disputes, blah, 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 unworthy of an honorable person, considered blah, blah, blah. Then he takes Timothy, but foolishness and the unlearned questions avoid knowing that they gender strife. In other words, that they lead to strife and conflicts, to avoid foolish questioning and generalities and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. I need other authoritative sources. Wake up. I need other authoritative sources, and not just that comes from scripture, because those perspectives were the norm for understanding what honor was and is. Stop listening. It wasn't until I gave him that he could understand where the dishonorable part comes from. You see, in scripture, it's not because they were trying to set a new precedent or establish new ways of life. They were literally giving you the facts of the culture, the community at that time. It was dishonorable, but you have Aristotle and all of those, Socrates, and you have the Areopagus, where they used to sit and debate. The rest of the people didn't go there. Those men who debated and who argued and all of that, they were not considered the norm. Sorry, had to get some agua. Oh, look at all this thinking it's doing. Aw, look, he actually focused on Aristotle and all of them. I told you that's where they were going to go. And then he, below are three primary authorities, that the quorum and all of that stuff. And together, these sources established that from the foundation of the virtue of ethics through Roman civil moralities and into medieval theology, engaging in quarrelsome arguments has been considered consistently judged unworthy of an honorable person. I don't argue. So copy. And now we're going to go to Poe. Poe's going to focus more so on the scriptural aspect and talk about how that's different. And so what we do is we give Poe that information right there. Understood. I'll provide authoritative sources. Here is a breakdown of various authoritative sources outside of scriptural contentions. Aristotle. And what is that? Cyril and medieval and modern ethics of arguments. Modern views acknowledge argumentation as vital for resolving disagreements and discovering truth. However, argumentative ethics also recognizes the manner of arguing matters. Arguments become problematic when they involve deceptive disrespectful, or obstructs justice. No. Historical shifts in argument. Nope, don't need that. So, synthesis. Across these sources, a few key themes emerge: self control, moderation. Wake up. I didn't ask you for nuances, comma, we're talking about perception, not modern perceptions. I don't care about how they've changed it to fit a certain norm, comma, it is still at its root dishonorable because arguing creates a dispute. And because it creates a dispute, you cannot be involved in a conflict and still be said to be honorable, especially if you are the one initiating the conflict. Stop listening, which is what attorneys do. Classical, philosophical, and ethics. Aristotle holds that honor is tied to virtue and dignity, and quarrelsomeness is a vice unbecoming of an honorable person. That's what I'm looking for it to do. Roman underscored that dignified individuals refrain from disputes, especially those they might incite. And this one, scholastic theology, this one says the quarrel is an act against charity and therefore is always a sin. Ta-da! Now look what it says, why arguing is dishonorable. The consistent perception across classical and historical sources is that honor requires restraint and temperance, while engaging in dispute, especially when one initiates them, is seen as a dishonorable because blah 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 blah. To argue or initiate conflict, therefore, undermines the very virtues, moderation, what is it, tranquility, and charity that define an honorable person. This perception has persisted across cultures and traditions in a universal norm. Okay, so I don't argue. I used to argue all the time. I used to never, ever, ever lose an argument. I would hold on to something and never let it go. So what I do now is got to come back here. This is the reason why we're doing this. We're gonna put that in there. Okay, why are we putting that in there? Because what we're gonna do is, let's see, we're gonna go 1, 2, 1. I got to go back to my prompt that I put in here in the first place. Woohoo! Oh, wait, no, not there. Oh no, I got to go back to ChatGPT. He had the quote. Sorry, honorable, and the one where he gave Paul. Let's do these right here. Copy. Okay. So what we did, y'all, we got to do some separation. I just saw how quite a few are not separated. We can leave that. We can do that. Weekend is made for Michelob. Okay, it didn't put it where I wanted to put it. Where did you put it at? Uh-oh, give me a second. Did you put it at the bottom? Nope, it didn't put it at the bottom. Where did it put my scriptures? Oh, dude, I ain't gonna keep y'all here this whole time. I gotta find it. I know I just put it here. Let's see. Not there, not there. Separate you, separate you. And I don't see it. Uh-oh. I know I copied it and pasted it. And it should have pasted right there, because y'all saw me separate it. So hold on. Okay, that's what it did. Okay. Whew. I got to straighten some things back out. See, this is the first part where it was supposed to go there. It didn't copy. Okay. That's what just happened. It did not copy. Copy. That was the problem. It just reposted what I had before. So it is dishonorable to engage in disputes of contentious arguments and quarreling. Okay. There you go. Arguing has always been dishonorable. They don't get to change the definition of arguing. And so, sorry, the reason why we're going over an hour so you guys can see what it takes for me to put this junk together, this stuff together for y'all. We have to now take this code. You see how long it is? Keep going. See how long it is? Keep going. Woohoo! And now we have to copy, and then we have to go over here. Just got to make sure we're going to go correction. Got it. Log in. Then we're going to go here. This is PO. Then we're going to go here. Wake up. This is the app that I created. And what I need to do is make sure the app is in all capital letters and that any typing that's placed in the app is in all capital letters with the option of highlighting the section and selecting standard type for upper lowercase lettering. Stop listening. Now I'm going to let you guys go because this is the HTML that it's going to create. I got to spend the next hour making sure it does it right. Okay? Because you see what it just did? Wake up. What did you do to my code? Stop listening. Here's what I did to your code. Wake up. Then where are my documents? You see? It says nothing was removed, but here is the code. Let's view the whole code. Stop listening. That's how short the code is. That's what I have to deal with when I'm using this and the back and forth and the forth and back and the ins and outs and the outs and ins. So what it did, want to let y'all know, oh, this ain't it. I think this is it. Give me a second. Okay, this is the document. Wake up. All of my documents are not in all capital letters. Don't remove anything, comma, don't change any words, comma, don't change any context or sentence structure, comma, just correct the all capitalization issue, with the exception of if it mentions a rule of the court that is in a lowercase letter, you will leave that be. Stop listening. because it challenges and does a Rule 60 B4, and the B is lowercase. So only changing the actual text content, not changing the HTML structure, legal citations or anything, because I need to save it as I just did it for y'all. So this is for those people who are dealing with the sentencing issue. And I needed to work on it for the sake of the individuals who are incarcerated so that I can send that to them. And the only thing they have to do is add their case information and print. Ta-da! There's another document in there for them that I got to work on, and that's what I'll be working on for the next 3 hours. We're going to up you to there. Oh, this is a paid version with more text content. Of course, you're going to continue. I want you to include everything. You don't get to leave out nothing. She's going to do the capitalization. And let's go to the app, pre-warrant. Nope, not the pre-warrant. Let's see, was it couldn't have, was it Rule 60 I was working on? Nope. Nope, it didn't have none of my documents. Nope, none of my documents. Federal question. Wake up. What is that junk you gave me? Comma, where are my documents? I know that my documents are in this code that I just gave you. So where are they? Stop listening. Oh, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, this is what I go through. And yet, this is what I go through. Sometimes I feel, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one. But most of the time, I am the only one. I wake up with this on my mind. I can't take what this on my mind 7 days a week. Wake up. I gave you complete documents, comma. Honorable. This was for one document, colon, and this was for the second document, colon. Stop listening. Oh, if you guys don't want to stay around and watch this, then go on now. See, need this because I don't want to have to do it all over again. Copy, And y'all need this too. The reason why y'all need this is because y'all don't want to have to do it all over again either. We got 3 documents I need to put. Wake up. And this was the 3rd document. Colon. Now I got that song on my mind. Stop listening. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Chris document that I'm working on. Okay, copy. And I'm going to get it to incorporate that as well. Stop listening. All right, I'm going to let y'all go. We're already an hour and 17 minutes. But, I mean, who else is going to do something like this for you? I could have just left the app alone and just let y'all just do it yourselves. But what fun is there in that since y'all are lazy? Yeah, that's what I said it. All right, so we will talk the next time. I got to finish this, but I also got to go eat breakfast because it's the most important meal of somebody else's day. So it's telling me this. The user is pointing out that they provided. You are absolutely right. I apologize. You gave me a complete document. The real documents are pre-warrant, challenge, blah, blah, blah. The problem in replacing your details, complete legal document templates, that's completely wrong. What I need to do is I should have blah, 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 blah. Wake up. Well, correct the problem, please, by updating the HTML. Stop listening. It already had that as a solution, and so I'm going to let it do it. All right, we will talk to y'all later. This is going to take about an hour. So for those of you who are my people, y'all know what I go through. And y'all know all the effort that I put into this and all of my time that goes into this, that I don't charge anybody for this time. Go ahead and see if anybody else will put this many hours together and not charge you. Okay? And then put the stuff out for free. Nobody is putting out apps for free for y'all, not on legal stuff, so that you can produce your own. Oh, by the way, you can take this, start a business with it. I don't care. I'm not patenting any of this. Okay? Go start a business. You have my permission. Do this for your friends, your neighbors. They need to have a motion put in court. We just told you at the very beginning of the video how to use this to create your own motions. You got a traffic ticket. You know what you want to argue. Use ChatGPT, one of the Covington Law Pro X Gen, to create your petition. Tell it you only want facts and conclusions of the law. And then stop letting the courts kick your junk out. Appeal every decision. Create your appeal documents. Covington Law Pro Exchange will walk you through the documents that you need and use this app to create your documents. Ta-da! You don't have to go to a lawyer unless you want to. Lawyers are stupid. Why? Because they just went to school to learn the rules of the court. They don't know the law, which is why one of them is going to take the argument that I brought up about sentencing and probation, and they're going to ride that horse to death. Why? Because they should have thought about it. I've known about it since 1997, but that has been the law made by Congress since 1984 for 51 years. No, is it 51 years? 41 years. 41 years. 41 years. 41 years. And this hadn't been cleared up. Yeah, people have tried to raise it, but they didn't do it like I did. Went back to the original record of Congress and talked about what the original intent of Congress was. Lord have mercy. All right, have a good day, y'all. Gotta go.